It starts back quite a while ago, 1911. My grandfather immigrated first from Germany to Minnesota and then to the Yakima Valley. He leased his first orchard in 1911, and shortly after that bought his first orchard, so that's kind of how the Keller family got into the apple business. But we don't actually plant apple seeds. If you plant an apple seed, you don't know what you're going to get for a variety. You just get whatever comes up. So basically, we buy trees that already have a variety grafted onto a rootstock. The trees planted, of course, nowadays we're putting them on trellis systems, and it's just a whole different way of farming than it used to be. Yeah, actually, when I got out of college in 1964, the state packed about 26 million boxes. This last year, it's going to be, like I said, in excess of 140 million. Basically, the start of the season would be during the dormant season, which is from November through March. After that, the trees start to bud and get leaves on them, and pretty soon we hope for flowers. Once that period's over, then the apples begin to form. The middle of August on through the 1st of November, you're harvesting apples. Probably the first one we're going to be packing here by around the 1st of August this year will be Galas. That's followed by Red Delicious, then probably Granny Smiths, Fuji's. Basically, the last one we'd probably harvest would be the Pink Lady, and that comes off toward the end of October. But all the fruit is harvested by hand, put into large bins, and put into cold storage. For the apples, we're going to be packing basically September, October, November. We just go into a cold room that the temperature is about 32 degrees. But fruit that we want to hold until the following July go into what we call controlled atmosphere storages, where the bulk of the oxygen is removed from the storage. Normal air that we're breathing right now is about 19% oxygen. We drop that down to about 1%, and that basically just slows the whole ripening process and keeps that apple almost the way it was the day it was picked. And so that allows us to basically have apples 12 months out of the year. Television cameras and computers and lighting basically do the bulk of the sorting, and computer does the weighing of the apples and size them so that when you buy a box of apples, everything in that box is the same size, relatively the same amount of color, and uniformity. Yeah, well, weather, we think of weather right now because most of the state of Washington is in a drought right now. Lack of snowfall in the mountains last winter, and so water is real critical. There are some growing areas that don't have any water right now, and people are really struggling. Other areas have all they need, but unfortunately they're not in the same geographical area, so you can't take water from one place to another. It just doesn't work that way. But weather would probably be number one. Probably the next thing would be labor. That's it's a very labor-intensive crop. If the labor doesn't show up and the fruit's ready to harvest, fruit doesn't wait. Yeah, you mentioned earlier there is a lower quality apple. By lower quality, we're really talking about visual. Inside, it tastes just as good as one you spend $2 a pound for in the store. Everything is done for eye appeal. If you're hungry, you don't care about eye appeal. You want something that tastes good and is good, and that's what they're getting. We get better every year, or you don't survive.